Welcome to Horror Bois. It's a podcast on the internet. I'm Austin, joined as always by
Chris.
And we are the Horror Bois. And this isn't any old podcast on this old internet. No, my friends. This is a horror movie review podcast where every week we review a horror movie. Or another horror property, but not as often.
Right.
But yeah, so we're going to do that. But actually, wait, before we do that, I think there's something I got to say, something special about today. It's like, what was it? Oh yeah, it's Bois Choice, baby! It happened last year. I said it was popular because, at that point we didn't have much of an audience.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's back. It's Bois.
Yeah.
And I have decided this one is called Bois Choice 2 Freddy's Revenge.
Oh.
I don't know, it's a sequel.
Are we watching Freddy movies again?
Yeah. We'll have to suffer through all of them again because we didn't do as good notes back then.
Oh, God.
I don't know if we're ever going to do Nightmare on Elm Street. We are going to do the Friday the 13th movies again because there was the first, I've talked about this before, but the first shift of the change of how we did the podcast happened in between Friday the 13th and Nightmare. So Friday the 13th definitely deserves it, but honestly, looking back, Nightmare probably also deserves it. But we'll see if I'll ever make myself suffer through the worst movie ever made again. I'll say it.
Freddy versus Jason? Yeah.
No. Not even close. It is 100% Freddy's Dead. The final nightmare.
I don't know.
Yeah, you are in the minority for thinking Freddy versus Jason is as bad as you think it. We're not going to get into this fight again. We can wait till we redo the podcast.
I don't know. Pretty terrible.
Parts of it were pretty bad. But you know what the difference is? Here's the thing. Even if I don't want to, argue that it wasn't as bad as you thought when it's bad, those last 10 minutes, you can't deny, were amazing, and Freddy's Dead had nothing.
I'd have Freddy in it.
But he didn't have anything. Today we're talking about Bois Choice. It's my choice, Austin's choice. I'm starting. We're talking about Mayhem.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mayhem.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
Spoilers!
Dang it,
I obviously hate this movie. That's why it's my Bois Choice.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, so let's tell you about the movie. Our director for this movie is Joe Lynch, of one of the biggest horror movies he did. Otherwise was Wrong Turn 2, alongside Horror Boy alums Ken Kersinger of Freddy vs. Jason, as we just talked about, weirdly enough. Crystal Lowe of Final Destination 3, Texas Battle of Final Destination 3, and Erica Lurhison of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03. Oh, also, he is a Horror Boy alum for his cameos in Hatchet 2 and Victor Crowley.
Yippee.
Woo!
Alright.
Our writer is Matthias Caruso, who honestly doesn't have much else on his, history that, stood out to me, but, the writing in this is pretty darn great, so that's a shame. And don't get me wrong, I understand that sometimes directors, help with writing a little bit, even if they're not officially, credited as that.
Yeah.
But obviously that means Matthias still had some, good stuff there, or it wouldn't have been as good as it is, so.
Right.
I don't know how I think about the movie. You have to wait and find out.
Yeah, and definitely not find out in the first 10 minutes of the podcast.
Our composer is Steve Moore of VHS 2, VFW, Christmas Bloody Christmas, and The Guest, alongside Horror Boy alum Joel David Moore of Hatchet 1 and 3, also known as the ones that Joe Lynch wasn't in, weirdly enough. Both men did each of the two. All the Hatchet movies have now been mentioned, but not in the same movies, even for their cameos.
Yeah.
It's just a weird coinky-dinky.
Thanks, Mayhem.
Yeah. Our director of photography is Steve Gaynor. Our production designer is Mina Burek. Our key makeup and hair artist is Martina Subic Dosic of Don't Breathe 2. So I'll just take a pause here to mention that I believe this movie was shot in Serbia. So a lot of the people, the actors' names are very not English. So I will butcher this, and I am sorry to the families of people involved in this if they ever see this.
Interesting.
The special effects coordinator is Muhammad Mbarek Toske. Our stunt coordinator is Slavisa Ivanovic. And our digital visual effects were done by Rainfall and Mist FX Studio.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We open on a shot of a painting of the ID7 virus as our main character Derek begins to narrate. Derek is played by Stephen Yen of Nope and The Walking Dead, alongside Horror Bois alums K&B Effects group of Howard Berger and Greg Nicotero, who worked on Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Child, New Nightmare, Jason Goes to Hell, Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Beginning, Texas Chainsaw 3D, The Final Destination, Wishmaster, The Faculty, and Screams 1 and 2.
Yeah. So anyways.
Yeah, they did a lot. KMV effects are kind of up there with the people who have been on Horror Bois.
Yeah, a lot.
They kind of are the most decorated people in our pantheon.
Yeah. They've done a lot.
Yeah. How many was that? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 movies that they have worked on in the Horror Bois world.
Yeah.
I don't know if that number will ever be passed.
Probably not.
Yeah.
If I had to venture a guess.
The next highest would be Robert Englund at 7?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. Due to the way we did it, it would
Brad
definitely be Brad Dourif at 20.
A lot. Yeah.
But technically he was only in 9 things, if you count each season as 1, which I feel like you should if you're talking about a credit. So.
But this isn't the Brad Dourif podcast. This is the Mayhem podcast.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, my Bois Choice was to call this the Brad Dourif podcast.
No. Sorry. Gonna shoot that one down.
Well, you know what? You can't cover the movie you wanted to cover then.
The
The first choice.
We watch
the first choice, the one you already agreed not to do.
Oh yeah.
Well, we won't tell the audience.
They're good to know.
Yeah, I won't tell the audience because they might want to see it, and I really don't want to watch that movie again anytime soon. That's all I'll say. Moving on. Derek explains how the ID7 virus makes stress hormone levels rise, blocks neural paths, essentially attacking your id and throwing off the important balances of emotions and reason in your brain.
Yeah.
So it makes you act on impulses, whether that is picking fights with your boss or playing harmonica in public, basically. That's basically the two things it'll make you do. Mostly the fighting, but occasionally the playing harmonica in public. We get a cool, stylized, black and white, Sin City-esque, or that one episode of season 2 of Chucky. The Exorcist episode, I believe.
I thought you were gonna somehow bring it back to Buffy.
No, The Exorcist. And I'm keeping it to Horror Bois specific. Just the stylized black and white where you can see, in this case, red.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool looking.
It is.
The ID7 virus also makes your eye red, which once again, visible in the black and white. He goes in to explain that the virus was first documented 18 months ago in Des Moines, Iowa. Excuse me. There have now been 1,000 confirmed outbreaks. The CDC is hopeful that the mandatory quarantines With mandatory quarantines, they can stop the virus from spreading. And man, does this movie feel really weird to talk about the world we live in currently, post the life we've lived. I don't know if we can say the word yet. We probably can.
Post-pandemic.
Yeah, post-pandemic. Like, this movie came out in 2017, so, like, this is before all of it, but it is kind of weird how, like, oh, it's a virus? Oh, and the CDC's, like, trying to shut it down with quarantine? This just feels weird now. But, yeah, it is what it is. It's not like there's that much that's connected to it other than that.
Other than that, it being a virus.
Yeah.
That, you know, if this was real, a lot of people would be dead.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know, for some reason in the real world, half the people would be absolutely against, you know, stopping it for no reason other than the other side started stopping it.
Yeah. Well, you're, you know.
Well, we're just going to move on from there.
Stepping on their freedoms, Austin.
Oh.
But anyways.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry.
Their freedom to kill other people.
You're right. And that is exactly what the ID7 virus would give them. Oh my gosh. Like, they talk about... we're pausing to just have a discussion here. This movie talks about how this virus, you know, does this stuff. And, like, most of the cases have been in America. Half the population would be dead if this was real.
Yeah.
Because the other half of the population carries around a deadly weapon just for fun. And now they have a virus that gives them the right to kill people. That's the, like, stand your ground law on steroids.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And I'll move on. I probably won't get political again. I don't know. We'll see.
Oopsies.
Oopsies. Real Austin came out a little bit there. The CDC also states that the virus isn't lethal, but while
technically.
the virus... yeah, technically. But while the virus can't kill you, the infected can. Yeah. Derek then explains that Neville Reed was cleared of murder, which we see in stylized black and white in a fun kill of him, like, stabbing the guy in, like, the neck repeatedly. Horror, I don't like, you know, I love this podcast, but I also don't like the sentences Horror Boys makes me say.
Yeah.
You know, the really cool kill where he stabbed the guy repeatedly in the neck. I'm not a psychopath, everyone, but I feel like I am when I'm talking about horror movies.
Yeah. One might be led to believe otherwise. I'm just
a gorehound when it comes to my horror movies, and that makes me look like an absolute psychopath if you listen to just my words. Derek explains that his legal defense was that those infected with ID7 can't control their emotions and therefore are not liable for their actions. So thanks to a loophole, he was able to walk free. We then get our title card. Derek continues to narrate, but now over, like, normal color shots of him working at Towers and Smythe Consulting, who were hired in the Neville Reed case. We see him starting out in shots of how working there changed him, and find out he, even though he believed Neville was guilty, found the loophole which led to the promotion / position and office he has now.
Yeah. He's sacrificing his morals for success.
Because if you haven't figured it out yet, which is fair, but you will figure out as we go through this, this movie has a little bit of a,
eat the rich vibe?
Yeah, eat the rich / just like anti-big business, which, fair to all those.
Yeah. Very much fair.
Yeah. This is just going to be a really political episode, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make it.
Oops.
I'll try not to be too much. We get a quick interaction where Derek blackmails a coworker Oswald into treating his secretary Jenny better to show that he's not truly evil, because Oswald's a jerk. So
yeah, he sucks.
Yeah. Oswald is played by Nicola Kent of Hellraiser 2022 and Ray Donovan alongside Horror Boy alum Liev Schreiber of Scream 1 through 3. Jenny is played, which is the name of the secretary, is played by Lucy Chappelle of The Theory of Everything. When Derek goes... Sorry?
So that's Big Theory.
That's true.
Sorry.
That was really worth interrupting me for. I'm thankful.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I
agree.
like you being part of the podcast, but maybe like have insightful stuff to say.
No, I'm okay.
Oh, okay, fair enough. You know what? You do you. When Derek goes into his office, he questions his assistant Miles about his missing coffee cup. Miles is played by Bohan Perrick. This is going to be a rough episode for me, guys.
Yeah, I can tell.
Because if your name isn't Stephen Yen or Samara Weaving, you have a really, European name, which, not to call it a weird name, but not a typical... It's harder to pronounce in typical English pronunciation if you don't know the language, which I don't.
What?
Yeah.
You don't speak Serbian?
Or whatever other country from Europe all the people are from, because not all their names follow the same phonetic rules, so I assume that they're not all from the same country.
Yeah, probably.
Miles tells Derek he has a call from Gusfit. Wait, no. It's David from Vandecorp Online 1. But when Derek answers, it's actually Gus. No, just kidding.
No.
It's his sister calling to ask if he's going to make it to her birthday. He won't be able to, so she asks him to paint her something cool, but he has to end the call because he's busy.
Yeah.
I would tell you who his sister is, but I couldn't find anyone in the credits that fit the name that was in the subtitles. So, yeah. He goes into his 9 o'clock meeting with Melanie Cross, who is pretending to be representing a client whose house is being foreclosed when she is actually the tenant. Melanie is played by Samara Weaving of The Babysitter 1 and 2, Scream 6, and Ready or Not, alongside Horror Boy alums Matt Bettinelli-Olpin, Tyler Gillette, Brett Jutkewicz, and Guy Busick of Scream 2022. And Brian Tyler of Scream 2022, The Final Destination, and Final Destination 5.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because, she was in, movies made by Radio Silence, and they hire all the same people, which, because that's what happens a lot with directors.
Yeah.
Derek isn't able to help her. She starts to get upset and starts to smoke. When he tells her she can't, she tells him, "So come stop me, suit." When he gets up to leave, she tries to explain the importance of needing the extension. Derek says, "Look, I'm very sorry. There is nothing... I'm very sorry this is happening to you." Melanie says, "Then don't kick me out." He replies, "The bank is kicking you out." She says, "The bank is your client." Derek explains, "It's the firm's client. The firm's partners call the shots." Melanie says, "No one raindrop thinks it causes the flood. My mother used to say that. Now I understand what it means." He asks, "Is there anything else I can do to help?" She replies, "You can start by telling me the partner calling the shots on the case." He responds, "Sure, that would be Irene Smythe." Melanie wants to talk to Irene, and Derek says, "Sure," but calls security instead to escort Melanie out.
Yeah.
We see a shot of Irene Smythe, so I'll tell you who she's played by. She is played by Carrie Fox of Shallow Grave.
Mm.
Also, I'm not sure which security is which on IMDb, so the 7 people who play security guards throughout this movie are Armando Antonio Romero, Srdjan Pantelic. I'll give you this guy's first name. Srdjan. I'll be honest, there's a little bit less vowels than I am typically used to pronouncing in that first name.
Surgeon?
Maybe?
No.
Then we have Pavle Jerinik, Lazar Miljakovic, Alan Villakovic, Greg DeCure, and Zoran Pajic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm doing my best. There's a lot of foreign people to me in this movie, and I will do my best. We see that the
a lot
virus
of
is
European guys. I said a lot of European guys.
We see that the virus is in the water both Melanie and Derek drank. Jenny tells Derek that Kara told the boss that Derek screwed up a Vandercorp case, even though Vandercorp is Kara's client, not his.
Yeah.
We see some quick shots to show the virus spreading around the office. Derek heads upstairs to talk to the director of operations, Kara Powell. Kara Powell is known as the Siren because she's got the boss's ear with her song of sweet poison. We also see a painting of her with a snake tongue by the boss's ear. I also mentioned that, I don't know if I mentioned it every time, but typically whenever we get a character that has like a nickname, they have a cool painting drawn of them. So
It's true.
I don't know if I wrote it down for every other one, so just know that is there if I don't mention it. Kara Powell is played by Caroline Chikezi of Aragon and the live-action Aeon Flux remake alongside Horror Boy alums stuntman Billy Mortz of Wishmaster and Michael Pink of The Voices. We see a shot of the boss. So, John the Boss Towers is played by Stephen Brand of Hellraiser Revelations, The Scorpion King, and Demons alongside Horror Boy alum Andrew Divoff of Wishmaster. Woo! Yeah. Also, just because I typically, unless otherwise, I'm just going to go with people's last names because they kind of go back and forth. And I didn't want to just call them by their nicknames. That felt weird in the notes. So, remember people's last names, everyone. Unless their last name isn't as distinctive as their first name. Like, I definitely went with Lester over Mick something. I don't remember. So, yeah, just I pick and choose what I want to do, guys. Just accept it.
Deal with it.
Yeah, get over it. In Pal's office, Derek asks her where she got her mug. Pal calls in her assistant Meg, who says she got it from the kitchen because it was the only clean one. Meg is played by Claire Delamar. Derek asks Meg, and why do you think this one wasn't? Because she says that all the other ones are dirty. Sorry. Meg answers, because the maid cleaned it. Derek responds, incorrect. I cleaned the mug because this mug is mine. And what's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. Pal says, you're getting to a point? Derek continues, Vandercorp is your client. The blood's on your hands. Pal says, oh, so now you want to share. Derek says, I can't share what isn't mine. Pal says, Vandercorp has filed more than 100 account cases through us in the last 2 years. Derek says, well, then I hope they have a good case manager. Pal says, you mean managers. No one can work a client that big without delegating. And according to the annual work distribution sheet, Derek interrupts, that hasn't been updated in years. Pal continues, one of Vandercorp's complaint cases was assigned to you. File 45A. Derek says, I'm being set up. Pal takes out the file and says, whoa, heads will roll. This will cost Vanda. Derek interrupts, grabbing the file and says, give me that. This was planted. Pal says, I'll cut you a deal. Plead guilty. Derek responds, not guilty. Pal continues, the corpse was found inside your office. Derek says, you knew exactly where to find it. Pal asks, do you want to take this upstairs? Bum, bum, bum. I feel like I had to be dramatic there because, it's just a lot of dialogue here.
Yeah, it is.
Derek replies, great idea, take your file. In the elevator, Pal swipes her keycard because Derek doesn't have clearance.
Yeah.
Pal, talking to the file, says, don't you worry, little one. Daddy will pay for abandoning you and leaving you to die in that cold, dirty dumpster. Derek says, no.
No, he doesn't say
No, he just says 2 no's. No. You died when you drowned because Mommy left you in the bathtub while she went shopping for shoes. But don't worry, Daddy will make her pay. Pal says, too bad Mommy outranks Daddy. Derek says, Mommy's a backstabbing bad woman.
Yeah.
Pal responds, That's why Mommy outranks Daddy. You know? Yeah, fair. Welcome to the corporate world.
Yeah, welcome to corporate America.
Yeah.
Nothing matters except for winning.
Yeah. They head into John Tower's office, where he's finishing up a stick figure drawing of 3 soldiers running from a bomb. Tower says, "Tell me what you see here." Pal responds, "I see that those soldiers' lives are in danger, sir." Tower asks, "Do you think they'll make it?" Pal says, "No, sir. The fuse is too short. It's too late to run." Towers asks, "And what do you think they should be doing instead?" She replies, "May I, sir?" She takes the drawing and makes one of the soldiers jumping on the bomb. Tower says, "So simple and yet so effective. Can you see it, Derek? Can you see the solution to our problem?" Derek responds, "I think you mean her problem, because she was the one that..." Tower slams down the drawing tablet and says, "Give me the file. This is our bomb. The fuse is already burning, so should we run like cowards and die?" Pal says, "We are brave, sir." Because she is just, she's a kiss butt, is what the kids say on the streets.
Yeah. She sucks.
Yeah. Towers says, "I'm so glad you said that, because any second now, Vandercorp is gonna find out about this mess, and I'm gonna need some scalps. So who dropped the ball?" Pal says, "I hate phoning. She says that exactly. The Porky Pig little stutter there. It all happened.
Yeah.
Watch the movie if you don't believe me. Pal says, "I hate pointing fingers, but may I suggest you check the annual work distribution sheet?" Derek says, "Someone cooked the obscenitying worksheet, sir." I've decided that's just now my new replacement for the F word. It's just the word obscenity. Every curse word basically just gets its own replacement word now in the Horror Bois canon. We got, for the B word, it's bad woman. For the S word, it's poop. For the A word, it's butt. I'll say hell, because who cares? Who cares, man? I guess the D word is darn. It doesn't really come up that often in movies. And then the F word is obscenity. There's your behind-the-scenes lore if you're a new listener.
Yeah, I guess.
Because we don't curse on this podcast, because, I don't know, we just don't. Tower says, "Go on." Derek continues, "Have you noticed that whenever there's a problem like this, it's almost always the same soldier involved? Because down in the trenches, we have all noticed. And we wonder if discharging the problem soldier might be the solution to preventing this kind of mess from ever happening again." Towers asks, "And who would that be?" Derek answers by drawing shoes, boobs, and Pal's hair on the soldier jumping on the bomb.
Yeah.
Towers says, "Thank you, Derek. You can leave." And Derek reluctantly leaves. Derek goes to talk to his friend Ewan, I don't know. Ewan Niles about the problem going down. Niles is played by Mark Frost of Faust, alongside Horror Bois alums Andrew Divoff of Wishmaster, and Matt Falletta of Jack Frost to Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. Because, he was the body of the Mutant Killer Snowman himself. Oh, also, and technical Horror Bois alum Jeffrey Combs of Dr. Mordred. I just want to mention him because he's Jeffrey Combs and he's like a legend, but we haven't really covered him. But technically, if you go to the Horror Bois YouTube channel, he is a Horror Bois alum.
That is
for that spin-off series that no one watched and we don't make right now.
Yeah.
But technically, Jeffrey Combs is kind of a Horror Bois alum sometimes, if you think about it. And, squint.
Squint real hard.
Yeah. Niles is doing some meditation when Derek comes in. Derek explains the situation to Niles, who says, "So before even taking this upstairs," he notices Derek's facial reaction and continues, "You already took this upstairs and made a mess of things. Say I punch a rhino in the face. Would you call that brave or stupid?" Derek says, "Brave and stupid." Niall says, "See how bravery and stupidity can overlap? Now that you understand that, let me give her a call and see if I can find a way to cut you a deal." Derek says, "She already offered me a deal. I told her to suck it and this is war." He actually didn't say that, but, I guess that was what he meant. In walks Pal, who says, "War is over, moron." Derek asks, "How so?" Pal continues, "Natural selection happened. Pack your poop. Boxes are on the second floor." Derek says, "You're obscenitying kidding me." I really do. As much as I love it, I also hate it, the obscenity as the replacement, because it just doesn't grammatically fit anywhere. But I think that honestly adds to the humor of it. Niles says, "Derek, calm down." Derek accuses her of playing harmonica with towers to keep her job. Powell responds, "Like I need to stoop to that level. Now, get the obscenity out of my face." Derek yells, "I'm taking this to the 9. Powell responds, "Sure. Good luck with that." He adds, "And I want my mug back." Derek, in a voiceover, explains that the 9 are the company's board of directors. They consist of Irene Smythe and 8 unnamed other partners. You know what that means? It's time for...
A list of people whose
Yeah!
names Austin can't pronounce.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
The partners are played by Irfan Mensur, Bronco Jurinek, the late Zoran Milic... Wait, what? I thought they were one of the other people. The late Zoran Milikovic, who I think also might have played a security guard, or I put him in the wrong spot. I don't know. Danica Radulovic, Elian Wynne Jones, Brendan Stokey, Ljubomir Todorovic, and Monica Romick. Yeah. As Derek narrates over an explanation of the 9, we see them vote to fire Derek with a thumb across the throat.
Yeah.
Lester, the Reaper McGill. See, McGill is a lame name. I didn't want to call him McGill in my notes, so I called him Lester. He is the head of human resources and is sent to fire Derek. Lester is played by Dallas Roberts of 310 to Yuma, The Grey, Glass Onion, Walking Dead, and My Friend Dahmer alongside Horror Bois alum Alex Wolff of Hereditary. Sorry, there's a lot of talking in this episode. A lot of dialogue, which means there's a lot of dialogue in the first half, and then a bunch of action in the second half. So I gotta get through all this dialogue.
Yeah, all this boring dialogue.
Well, I don't really think it's boring, and it's just in a lot of it, like, spoiler, there's really good, like, foreshadowing where dialogue comes back, so I feel the need to mention it at the first time, or it doesn't mean as much when it happens again later.
That's fair.
Lester says, don't yawn. I know it's late, Chris, but they don't know that, so don't pretend like you're excited.
Guys, it's late.
We're talking about Mayhem, gosh darn it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I would guess, despite my tired demeanor.
Lester says... Oh, sorry. Yeah, Lester says, "Mind if I come in, Derek?" Derek responds, "If I said no?"
I said no.
Lester says, "Thank you." Derek asks, "Do you even know what happened?" Lester says, "I don't care what happened." Derek says, "You must be good friends with Kara, then." Lester says, "I hope she dies promptly." Derek says, "Glad we're on the same page. The 9, listen to you, and I have proof that..." Lester interrupts. "Sign here, and here." Derek asks, "What the hell are you doing?" Lester replies, "My job." Derek says, "So you are on her side?" Lester says, "I'm on the right side. Always am. That's why it's me firing you. Sign these documents from upstairs so I can clear accounting to transfer your severance pay into your account." Derek, while rubbing his eyes, says, "Do you know what this is? This is a statement saying that I take full responsibility over the Vandecourt mess." Lester responds, "I'll have to fire that under N for not my problem." Derek says, I could be disbarred. I could face legal action from the client. Lester says, I'm just the messenger, Derek. Yelling at me is like yelling at your watch because you're late. That's actually like a really good line. You know, it's a really good comeback.
Yeah.
Good for Lester. Derek asks, why would I sign this crap? Is it actually crap or was it poop? I don't remember if I corrected it or corrected with the wrong word or if he actually said crap.
It was probably crap.
Yeah, because I normally would write poop if it wasn't. But it feels weird for me in a movie like this to say crap when they say so many other curse words. I don't know. Lester replies, passing Derek a piece of paper. To get rich. Glad to see we're on the same page. Derek says, glad to see I'm not. Lester says, you want to do this the hard way? Derek responds, I want to do this the right way. I want to speak with him and the 9. Lester says, executive decisions are not subject to appeal. Derek says, this one obscenity-ing better be, because I'm not leaving this building until I plead my case.
Yeah.
Lester says, understood, and taps his scythe-like cane on Derek's desk.
Very scary.
Yeah. We cut outside to see SWAT and the CDC arriving outside to quarantine the building.
Oops.
Yeah. Inside, Derek is being led by security to the front door and seeing the doors blocked. We cut to the penthouse where Towers and the 9 are talking to a CDC official on a video call, finding out that the CDC pathogen sniffer and the building's ventilation system has detected the ID7 virus in the building, and a neutralizer has been released into the ventilation system, eliminating all traces of the virus in 8 hours. They will be under quarantine until then. Oh no, I just remembered what the next line is. Alright, here we go. The CDC official is played by Olja Hrustic of Rob Zombie's Halloween, alongside Horror Bois alums Rob Zombie, Tyler Mane, Bill Moseley, Daniel Harris, Ken Foray, Daniel Roebuck, the late Sid Haig, Lee Temple, Adam Wiseman, Nick Mennel, Richard Arquette, and National Treasure Brad Dourif. Because this is the Brad Dourif Podcast.
Oh, it's not.
Dang it! I can't wait, Chris. Like, genuinely, can't wait till this summer, late summer, early fall, when we cover Rob Zombie's Halloween. Not because I want to see the movie. I don't have any opinion on it. I don't know. I might like it, I might not. It's kind of a divisive movie from my understanding. I haven't seen it yet. I just can't wait till I don't have to bring up someone if they're in the movie, because it'll just be like, oh, this person's a Horror Bois alum for being in Halloween. I don't have to go in Halloween with the 50 people who were in that movie.
Yeah.
Because once we cover it, I don't have to do that again, Chris. And that's why after we cover Halloween and Halloween 2 the next week, before covering the Halloween reboot trilogy, we are gonna cover She's All That just to get it out of the way. No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's gonna be a April Fool's joke at some point. It gotta be a pretty far out so people forget that we said it here.
Yeah, we gotta stop saying it so that people can forget it faster. Yeah. Oh, hello?
I said,
Oh, it didn't pick up.
Oh, yeah, I was groaning. It picked up on my side, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
It's Discord, you know, they gotta get rid of my audio. Derek is being beaten up in the lobby by Oswald, I assume. I realized afterwards that it might not be Oswald. I think it is, it might not be, I don't know. But we're gonna say
Pretty sure it's Oswald, yeah, he just, like, delivers a right hook to him.
Yeah, but then the virus, for some reason, I'm sure I tried to type virus, somehow I wrote the forums kick in for Derek.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, he got kicked off his favorite, chat board. No longer allowed to talk about backyard wrestling on his forums.
Let's be honest. He's on a day trading forum for sure.
Oh, that's true. He's on... what's that stupid one? What's the one... I forgot what it's called. I wanted to make like not topical, but like a reference to that one where they did all of the like planning for the GameStop stomps.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's called though. Sorry, everyone. I can think of it, but I can't say it. But the point is, the forms kick in for him, and he stabs Oswald in the foot with a knife. Might be
like a pair of scissors.
It wasn't though, because it's one. If it's a pair of scissors, like it's a broken pair of scissors where it's only one blade. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a. Yep, it's a fart noise. What's the thing?
Get stabbed in the foot.
Yeah, but what's the thing though? I need to know what this is. It's the thing you use. Letter opener. Maybe it's a letter opener. Is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not saying it is, but I just need to get that out there. That was the thing item I was thinking about.
The thing he could not think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he starts to lay in some more shots when Niles or Ewan, I don't know. I'm gonna call him Niles.
It's Ewan.
I'm gonna call him Niles in my notes because it's an easier name to pronounce. That's his last name, and that's what he's gonna go by on my notes. Sorry. Niles runs up and stops him from continuing. Derek says, "I think I just punched a rhino in the face. He attacked me, and then I just kicked his butt." He punches a random dude and continues, "I'm gonna go talk to the 9. Niles tells him, "No, obscenity this place. This mess is a blessing in disguise. Trust me, you don't want to end up like me." Derek says, "What are you talking about? You have everything figured out." Niles yells, "No, Derek, this meditation and this incense, it's all bull poop. You think I like the taste of kale? Come on, I'm obscenity-ing dead inside." Yeah, I like the obscenity-ing. I think it's good. I think it's a good bit. If you're an audience member and you think this is a good bit, tell me. If you don't, please don't tell me. I can't. My ego can't handle it.
Oops. Alright.
I would like only positive feedback. If you have any negative, constructive or otherwise feedback, please don't leave it. Derek says, "But they have me wrong. I have to tell them." Niles says, "Do you have any idea what they're capable of? Just hide out in your office until the virus subsides. Then walk out those doors and don't look back. Free as a bird, all right?" Derek says, "Okay." And Niles turns around to walk back to their offices, but Derek sneaks away in the crowd. We cut back up to the penthouse where the CDC official says, "Until the quarantine is over, we'll need your cooperation to keep the situation under control." Smythe interjects, "We know better than anyone else that this virus turns people into maniacs or blathering idiots." The official says, "As you may know, the virus triggers a breakdown of moral barriers, unleashing repressed emotions in the infected, including anger, depression, fear, lust." Towers laughs and says, "Like cocaine." The official says, "An infected individual would make a coke addict look like a model citizen, black person."
It's true. That's what I've heard.
That's what I heard she said. "A model citizen by comparison." Smythe says, but we still feel normal." The official responds, "The virus can cause drastic mood swings, with potential violent and severe consequences. It would be best if stressful work-related situations were avoided." And she says this. We see shots of the staff going crazy. She continues, "Antidepressants, stimulants, even caffeine can accelerate the virus's effect." Which I'm going to pause real quick just to say, it's a little weird of a thing for a CDC official, a scientist, doctor, whatever you want to exactly call them, feels the need to say that even caffeine is just a stimulant. What do you mean even antidepressants, stimulants? She could have said stimulants like caffeine, but she says even it's a stimulant. Of course, if stimulants cause issues, caffeine would.
Yeah. It is redundant.
Yeah, saying the word even just makes me mad. We see Pal ask Meg for more coffee. Bum bum bum.
Uh-oh.
Back up to the penthouse where Towers says to the 9, "So what happens when 287 employees with average billing rates of $200 an hour stop working for 8 hours?" "You don't know? He hits the table with a golf club and yells, "I lose $500,000. Now crack your whips, everybody goes back to work, and if they don't like it, they are terminated immediately, and no severance packages. Put the fear of me in them." I don't know if that's legal.
I don't think that it is, no.
The intercom buzzes and Towers says, "What now?" He's told Derek wants clearance to come up because he's reconsidered but wants to have a word with Towers and the 9 first. We cut to the elevator where Derek is given a code, but the elevator ends up going down instead of up. When he gets to the basement, he's pulled out by Colin the Bull Snyder. Snyder is the head of security and flanked by another member. I think it actually might be 2 we see in a later scene. But in this shot, it looks like it's only 1, so whatever. There's some security with him. Snyder is played by Andre Eriksson of Vikings, Norsemen, and Violent Night, alongside Horror Bois alums, makeup effect artist Doug Moreau of Curse and Cult of Chucky, Brendan Fletcher of Freddy vs. Jason, Mike Dopud, I don't remember how to pronounce it, I don't know. Final Destination 5, Marina Stephenson Kerr of Cult of Chucky, and Adam Herdig of Curse and Cult of Chucky. A lot of people in Violent Night too, as well. Let's add that to the list of movies that there's too many people in. Just too many people. Not too many Horror Bois alums. Just too many people in it. I want less people in the movie. All movies should only have 4 actors, and if any actor's been in more than 5 other movies, they can't be in anymore.
Yeah, honestly, help spread the wealth around.
It would. It would give young actors more opportunities. So, moving on. Snyder starts to beat up Derek. He takes his phone and calls Towers, who says, "Hello, Derek. Look, I'm so sorry we didn't get a chance to meet again. Things came up. You know how it is. Now, I know what you're thinking. Neville Reed, he got away with murder. Maybe I can have a little fun here. Did you really think that I didn't see that coming?" Derek says, "Actually, I was just going to ask for my job back, but I like your idea too." Towers says, "Well, I'm going to beat you to the punch." Snyder punches Derek again, and Towers continues, "Oh, ow. Now that sounds like it hurt. Is he hurt?" Snyder replies, "Yes, sir." Towers asks, "Is he crying?" Snyder replies, "No, sir." Towers yells, "Well, why is the..." Wait, why?
Why the obscenity is
No,
he not?
why isn't... I don't know. He says obscenity in crying, but I just don't know why isn't he? Maybe is what I was supposed to say, but it, messed up here. Well, I think it might be why... Well, why isn't he obscenity-ing crying? Snyder walks over and pepper sprays Derek in the eyes and says, "He is now, sir." Tower says, "Now I want you to break a bone. I want to hear a bone break. They say the femur is the most difficult bone in the body to break, but I'll settle for a pinky." Snyder is about to grab Derek's hand when Niles runs in saying, "I'm coming, Derek!" tackling the non-Snyder security guard and punching him until Snyder pulls him off, headbutting him, sending him back to be impaled in the back of the head by a nail, killing him.
Yeah.
After he says that he smells toast. Which I think is more of a thing to happen with strokes, so I guess the nail caused a stroke?
Maybe.
It's possible, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what happens if you shove a nail through the back of someone's head.
Not really sure. I haven't tested that.
I guess it could... At the first Horror Bois live event, we're bringing that bit back. No?
No.
Well, I can't shove a nail through the back of your head to see if you have a stroke?
Can
I still,
maybe, the last...
Can I still throw you off a building?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Towers is not happy that Snyder killed Niles because of how much money he'll lose while looking for a replacement. Because, Towers is a good guy who cares about people's wallets if they're him.
Yeah.
Snyder is worried about the body, but Towers says, thanks to the precedent set by Neville Reed, Snyder has nothing to worry about. Snyder then uses brass knuckles to knock out Derek. Derek comes to, locked in a room with Melanie, who is listening to metal music.
She's thrashing.
Yeah, she spits on him. So he says, "Mommy, please again." Nope, sorry.
No, he doesn't say that.
Doesn't?
No.
Oh.
No.
So he spits on her.
No.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does.
No, he does. Oh, and then she spits on him again. So he spits on her again. They trade fluids.
Technically, yeah.
And spoiler, maybe in more ways than one. Oh!
Well, yeah, not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Well, I mean, they both might be bleeding, so maybe, She punches him in the face, so he punches her in the gut. She tackles him and yells, "What are you doing here?" Derek replies, "They fired me." Melanie laughs and says, That's nice. Justice is served for once." Derek asks, "What are you doing here?" Melanie replies, "Security called the cops, but this place was quarantined before they could show up, so they threw me in this hellhole. I'm suing everyone and their grandma when I get out of here." Derek says, "Good luck. It's ID7. No one's liable for anything that they do." Excuse me. Melanie slaps him and says, "Just like any day for you." Derek says, "Yeah, we're not liable for what we do in here either." Melanie replies, "Nice. Then I'll have your balls for dinner for that poop you pulled."
Whoa.
And starts hitting him in the chest. He tells her, Wait. This might sound crazy, but I think we can help each other out here. Okay? You remember Irene Smythe? The woman that obscenity screwed you? She's in the building's penthouse right now." Melanie says, "So what?" Derek continues, "You helped me to the top, and she's all yours. This is our shot to hold those buttholes accountable for all the obscenity-ing damage that they've done. And our chance goes away as soon as the quarantine is over. Yeah? Can I get up now?" Melanie asks, "Are you going to stop being a butthole?" And Derek says, "That's debatable." And adds yes, when Melanie threatens to punch him again.
Yeah.
She lets him up, and he makes a plan to use parts of broken phones to make a working Frankenphone. We cut to Towers doing coke in his office. Woo!
Yeah. And the CDC person is...
No, not yet. That's a different time.
Oh, that's true.
No, I know it's confusing because he does coke at least like 4 or 5 times in this movie. You're in the wrong doing coke scene.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, Towers is doing coke in his office, his like assistant, I think, comes in or something, is told that Derek has set up a call with Vandercorp CEO Frank, and they wanted him to join in. Frank is played by Scott Alexander Young of The Invitation. Towers joins the call saying, "I'm all ears." Frank says, "Glad you could join us, John. Well, I've been having a nice long chat with one of your lawyers. Still here, Derek?" Derek says, "Yes, sir, I'm still here." Frank says, "Good. John, can you please remind me, why do I do business with TSC?" Towers replies, "Well, because it's a jungle out there, Frank. And not only do you need a guide, but you also need a lion walking right by your side. And we're your lion and your guide." Frank says, "Are you?" "Well, we're just a touch concerned that you may have ulterior motives." Tower says, "We would never turn against our clients, Frank." Frank replies, "Well, that may be true, but Derek has alerted me to a certain document that seems to suggest otherwise." Derek says, "It's a report that TSC did for Vandercorp. It analyzes the advisability of filing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against one of Frank's ex-business associates." Frank asks, "Do you remember this report, John?" Towers says, "No." Frank continues, "I must say, it's well written. I like how it weighs the slim possibility of a possible financial outcome against the enormous potential litigation costs. Do you agree with this report, Derek?" Derek replies, "No, sir, I do not. I believe you could have won the suit." Frank says, actually, we're going to pause real quick. I think it's a little weird that Frank is like, this one lawyer said that we find out in like this next like paragraph, like next couple lines, that like there was a reason they lied. But here it's just like him going, "I don't know. I mean, this one lawyer told me I might have been able to win the case that you told me I couldn't." What?
Yeah.
How is that enough for him to go, "You know what? I thought we could win that case, and now that I have one lawyer's opinion, I think we could have won the case. Sorry. So yeah, Derek says he could have won the suit. Frank says, then why did your advisors advise me against it? Derek answers, your advisors missed the deadline to file the motion. Frank asks, so you believe that TSC dropped the ball on this one? Derek responds, I believe they dropped the ball, sir, but then they also defecated in the ball, and they played harmonica with the ball's butt, sir.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
It is.
Those exact words.
Close. Yeah.
Frank says, interesting. Oh, and John, I just happen to have your last invoice here with me. He rips it up and hangs up. Bum, bum, bum. Towers says, I want you to rip the obscenitying phone out of his hands off his obscenitying body now. We cut to 2 security guards coming in but are distracted by Melanie pretending to order pizza on the phone.
Yeah.
Giving Derek a chance to sneak attack the guards, knocking one down with a plank of wood. He then, actually knocking him out, because we know he doesn't move again. Once one shot took him out completely. He was a weak guard. He then punches the other one to death.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They head over to the tool cage, and we get a suiting up montage as they grab all their weapons, including hammers, screwdrivers, wrenches, a nail gun, and a saw for extreme measures. They head up to get their first key card from Lester, which will take them to Powell to get the card that will take them to the penthouse. Lester walks out of his office into the chaos on his floor, and Melanie shoots a nail at him, but he blocks it with his cane. He runs back in his office and closes himself in. 2 security guards come up behind Dave and Dave? Behind Dave! That's the new character I've just invented. He just showed up. He's here with Derek and Melanie. He's played by John Stamos. He's only in this scene. I might be hallucinating things.
Yeah. Just a little bit. It's
you know
late,
what?
guys.
I don't... Do you smell toast?
No.
Oh. Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
Because I didn't have a nail shoved in the back of my head.
Yeah. I've heard that's what happens when
That's what I heard. And we will be testing it at Horror Bois Live 2. The last Horror Bois Live ever.
Oh, no.
Oh. You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
What if we, did it to Isaiah, but didn't tell him we were going to do it?
No.
And what if we had the ID7 virus so we could not be liable?
Oh, okay.
Chris, I need you to talk to your scientist friends and develop the ID7 virus.
Yeah, my scientist friends got it. Just go call them up real quick.
Excuse me, I need you to make up a virus for me, please.
Sure. That's not how that works.
What?
Huh?
But I heard that the viruses were made in a lab in China.
Remember, this is not a political podcast, guys. As
What?
much as we have said political things.
What? So yeah, 2 security
it's not
guards.
political to just be angry at stupid people, I don't think.
No, for some reason they decided to make it a political issue by making it a one side versus one side thing when really it was just, a matter of, life or death and, the betterment of the whole world. So yeah, the security guards, they come up behind Derek, Dave, and Melanie and they shoot him with the taser. Dave disappears. One tases Melanie, taking her to the ground. Derek hides as the guard searches for him in the chaos. Lester comes out of his office and slams his cane on Melanie's hand, saying it's for gender equality. Aw, isn't that nice?
Yay, equality.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Wait. Hold up. Then he kicks her in the gut. Also for gender equality.
Equality?
Derek sneaks up behind one of the guards and stabs him in the thigh, and blocks the other's taser with a clipboard and then stabs him in the chest. Maybe to death. We don't know. We never see them again. The first guy, probably alive. Second guy, I don't know. Maybe hit the heart. I don't know.
Hey.
He goes towards Lester and Melanie. Melanie slides the nail gun to Derek, which makes Lester hide back in his office as Derek shoots nails at the door. Excuse me. Derek offers his hand to Melanie, saying, "Need a hand?" Melanie says, "I don't need your help, Suit." Derek says, "But I need yours." And then, really dramatic music played because it was a really kind of lame line.
Vulnerability. Wow.
Melanie replies, "Obscenity, you." Derek returns with, "Obscenity, you, too." And he helps her to her feet. Derek returns... Oh, no, about that. Derek kicks open Lester's door and says, "May we come in?" Lester replies, "And if I said no?" Derek says, "You'll have to confer with my associate." Melanie, while tapping the nail gun, says, "And mine, Gimpy." And she shoots a nail that just barely doesn't hit Lester's hand. Lester asks, "What do you want?" Derek replies, "Key card." Lester says, "I'm not the only one with a level 2 key card." Derek responds, "But you are the one that fired me, butthole." Which, not fair, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, not fair, Chris. You're wrong. Because Lester says, "Wrong. The firm fired you. Don't nail gun the messenger." Derek says, "Oh, you bring up a very good point. I'm sorry, Lester. We're good. We're totally good, man." See, yeah, Chris, I don't know why you thought you were completely wrong. Did you not remember the movie?
Well...
The movie ends here, right?
Actually.
John Stamos shows up again, and I just watch him I watch Full House. I have notes on the on the first 2 seasons of Full House after this, but that's the end for the movie for me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see you, next week.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna do notes for you that next week? Because I got more Full House to watch.
Oh, okay.
Hello and welcome to Full House Cast, where we talk about Full House.
My lighting's weird now.
Yeah, you really messed up your lighting. Was that bit worth it? For our audio listeners, Chris covered up his camera trying to act like he was leaving when I joked about doing Full House podcast. And now he can't fix his light, and he looks so washed out.
I am basically black and white now.
Yep. All right.
Stepping it down.
We're just going to rock with that for the rest of the video podcast. This is a special edition where Chris screws up the lighting.
LA Noire.
I'll just screw up my lighting real quick, too.
I'm the beginning of this movie.
I can fix mine immediately. Because I'm a professional. Where was I?
Being professional.
We're totally good, man. Derek continues. I'll take it up with the firm, but I would love to know where I could find the firm, because I would love to kick the firm's butt. Lester says, "You can't kick a firm's butt. That's the point." Derek says, "Oh, well, that brings us back to you." Lester says, "I was just doing my job." Derek says, "No one raindrop thinks it caused the flood. I get what that means." Lester says, "You know what will happen to me if I give you this keycard?" Derek replies, "I'm gonna have to file that under N for not my obscenity-ing problem." Get it, guys? Those are both callbacks. See? This is why I had to tell you all the lines earlier.
It's all coming back.
Lester slides the card on the desk towards Derek, but when Derek goes to grab it, Lester stabs him through the hand and desk with a pair of scissors.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. Lester tackles Melanie to the ground and tries to use the nail gun on her, but she fights to hold him back. Derek tells her, "No, the saw, extreme measures." She uses the saw and mulches Lester's chest, covering herself in his blood in a fun kill.
Yeah.
Melanie helps Derek remove the scissors from his hand, and they head out of the office.
Yippee, level 2 key card.
Yeah.
On to the next mini boss.
I mean, yeah, kind of. There's a little bit of a
Yeah,
like video game vibe to this movie.
a little bit.
Melanie picks up a pair of sunglasses while Derek prints out the case file for Neville Reed. He has Melanie record a message for him to send to the penthouse. Derek, while smoking a cigarette, says, "Case file 32376. The People versus Reed. Now, you all know the court case, but let's discuss Mr. Neville Reed, the man, shall we? By all accounts, Mr. Reed was an upstanding pillar of the community, earned 2 master's degrees by the age of 21. I'm going to pause real quick and say, wow, good for him, impressive. That's like insane.
Yeah, really.
1 master's degree by 21 is insane.
Yeah.
2 bachelor's degrees by 21 would also be... There's lots of ways that this is insane. But master's degrees makes it even more insane.
Truly.
But Derek didn't stop there, so he continued with saying, he married his college sweetheart and is a father of beautiful twin girls. But when Mr. Reed contracted the ID7 virus, poop got real. He starts to walk, revealing the chaos happening on the floor as he continues. On that floor as he continues. Overwhelmed by pure id, Neville Reed became prone to involuntary, aberrant, and shocking impulses. He committed a gruesome, unspeakable act in broad daylight in a room full of witnesses. Now, we're witnessing a model citizen that transformed into a brutal, bloodthirsty killing machine at the blink of an infected eye. So I ask you this. Is it his fault, or is it the virus's? He then flicks the cigarette on the corpse of Lester, lighting it up in flames. He concludes, let's discuss. Melanie turns the camera onto her and adds, see you soon, obscenity-ers. Oh, my audio's on my phone. Oops.
Oh, whoopsies.
Oopsie. Oopsie poopsie. Which actually means oopsie shh.
Huh, I don't think it does, actually.
Oh, well, in our world
Really
it does,
rhyme.
Chris.
No.
Obscenity.
On to the next
ers.
floor now.
Oh, no.
But before that,
Towers calls Powell and tells her, Kara, he's on his way up. He has got Lester's key card. Powell says, oh, really? That's a shame. A real shame, sir. Just wondering, did they get it before or after butchering Lester with an electric saw? Towers says, just calm down and come up here. Powell says, they're guarding the private elevator. I can't leave the office. Towers says, then destroy the card. Powell says, it's my only leverage. Towers says, Kara, I promise you, I will do everything in my power to ensure he doesn't get you. But if he does, you must protect those above you. Powell replies, obscenity those above me. Towers says, I'll give you that raise you always wanted. Powell says, obscenity your raise. Towers says, I'll make you partner. Powell says, obscenity your deal.
yeah.
I'll throw it out the window. After hanging up, she decides not to throw it out the window and have Meg hide it.
Yeah, she's still gotta have that parking ticket.
Yeah. Back to Melanie.
Doesn't mean anything if you're dead.
Yeah. Back to Melanie and Derek, who are waiting for a clear shot to ambush Powell. Derek says, top 3 bands go. Melanie says, only 3? Derek says, only 3. That's the rules. And now before we continue, Chris, let's play the same game. Top 3 bands.
Reliant K, The Strokes, Gorillaz.
That's a good answer. Now moving on.
Alright.
I mean, no one's asked me, so I guess I'll move on.
You got a top 3?
Oh, me? You think I should give my top 3?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then my answer...
Actually, let's move on.
Oh, okay. So, Melanie said... Now, I'll say mine real quick. Whoa! We've been here the whole time! Chris, my answer to your question of my 3 favorite bands would definitely be... I guess currently Reliant K as well, AFI, and 21 Pilots pre-Suicide Squad.
Yeah, in Austin's defense, he doesn't listen to a lot of music.
How dare you? I listen to AFI all the time.
Like I said.
Well, you also had chose 3 bands. I mean, what you gonna crap on my bands because you don't like them? That's not fair.
No. I'm just saying 21 Pilots is in your top 3 because, you know.
I mean, I stand by those first, 2 albums are high art.
2 albums are very good.
And the 3rd album is decent. But those first 2 albums are amazing. But this is not a music podcast. And we don't know how long Chris will have power, because, spoiler, that's why there was the cut there.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Suddenly, there's a hurricane-grade storm going on outside my house.
I'm sure it's not that bad.
Well, the power just flickered again, so
Yeah,
let's get the show back on the road,
and my power just flickered. Oh, and I lost internet. We're back again, folks. If we cut out again, and that's why we're wearing different shirts, because it's a different day. But for now, it's the same day, and
Okay.
so let's get back to the movie. Melanie says, alright, Motorhead, DRI, and early Anthrax. Till I obscenitying puke. Derek says, alright, okay, that's not what I expected, but fine choices. Melanie says, what did you expect? The Dave Matthews Band? Derek says, hey, Dave Matthews Band is actually a good band. You ever heard them live? Melanie responds, I would rather chew glass. Derek says, are you serious? Just because they're popular doesn't mean that they're bad at music. I think it's actually that people think it's more popular to dislike them. So they're just trying to be cool. It's bull poop. Melanie says, alright, I'll go to see them at Burning Man. Derek says, alright, make fun all you want. But if we ever get out of here, I'm going to get us tickets, alright? To go to the Coliseum show in July. And I'm going to take you there, and I'm going to turn you on to some great musicianship. Melanie says, you're going to turn me on? Before or after we go out to buy Birkenstocks? Derek replies, obscenity off. Melanie continues, do you wear them with socks? I bet you do. That conversation wasn't initially in the script. Joe Lynch added it after, when he asked them their favorite bands, they answered it in character, and he thought it was just like their improv was good, so he added it, basically what they said into the script here for this scene. And then the executives wanted to, some of the executives, and producers, wanted to cut it because they didn't feel like it actually progressed the story at all, which it technically doesn't, but it really, makes you care about these characters. It's a real good, character moment, so I'm glad it's there.
It's nice.
Yeah. Now I'm going to keep rushing because I want to get this over before one of us crashes again.
Lose power again, yeah.
We cut up to the penthouse where Towers wants to know why the CDC doesn't send in a unit to stop Derek. The official explains that it would be too dangerous to send an armed SWAT team into a building filled with civilians. Yeah. Towers does a line of coke in the middle of the video call. The official says that all they can do is let the psychologist talk to Derek to try and de-escalate the situation. Towers breaks the TV in anger and puts out a bounty of $450,000 on Derek's head.
Yeah.
He's serious.
He's crazy.
Back to Derek and Melanie. Derek tells Melanie, 4 hours left till the quarantine lifts. We're running out of time. Melanie replies, well, sometimes you gotta say, what the obscenity? Make your move. Derek says, risky business. And they make their move to the 8th floor. See, guys, there's also movie quotes in this movie, not just music references.
Music and movie reference?
Yeah, no. Powell has enlisted 5 people from her floor to be her bodyguard / mercenaries. Before a fight can ensue, the phone starts to ring. Meg goes over and answers it, and it's Ghostface. Wait, no. It's Mark, the psychologist, working with the CDC. He tries to talk to defuse the situation with Derek, but Derek doesn't want to, so him and Melanie have an epic fight with the mercenaries set to a song by Faith No More on Derek's phone. that I'm not even going to try and explain, but it's really cool and ends with Melanie and Derek as the only two left standing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of action that happens in like a minute, and like it would have been silly to try to explain
It
it.
is a
Like,
really cool action scene,
Yeah.
and then they go and confront Kara.
Yeah. There is another fight scene a little bit later that I do explain what happens because it's a little bit less pure chaos like this one is. So, yeah, this one's just pure chaos. So, it's cool. Go watch the movie. If you couldn't tell by this podcast, me and Chris like it. I know you can't tell now because Chris's energy is zapped by, his power going out twice.
Yeah. And it being 12 a.m.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it was already like 12 a.m. before the power went out. I lost my place. They head into Pal's office. Derek says, "Keycard, por favor." There's also Spanish references in this movie, guys. They got music, they got movies, they got Spanish. That's the three major food groups.
I don't know if that's true.
I'm tasting toast again.
Interesting.
Pal says, "If you want it, you'll have to negotiate." Derek says, "Negotiations have ended," and pulls out the scissors he was stabbed with and places them on her desk. Pal says, "Well, so will quarantine, and I don't know where the keycard is." Derek asks, "What do you want?" Pal responds, "A truce." Derek laughs and says, "Obscenity, your truce." Pal says, "No truce, no keycard." Derek reluctantly says, "All right, tell me where it is, and I promise I'll be on my way and leave you alone." Pal says, "You're a man of your word, Derek. That's why I believe you." She picks up his coffee cup and continues the chuckle. "And that's why you never made partner." She throws his mug at the wall, breaking it. He jumps up in anger, brandishing his screwdriver. Pal says, "Keycard. Keycard, Derek. Don't be stupid now." He sits back down and she continues, "There's a good boy," and yells for Meg. "Hey guys, we're back. Whoa, crazy. We never left for you, but we already told you there was a storm."
Yeah. And spoiler alert, there's another one.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem as bad, so hopefully
Yeah.
we'll get through this.
I'm sure we will.
Did this podcast come out on the right day? Because if it did, we got through this. If it didn't, it's because we didn't.
Yeah. Find out.
Yeah, so let's jump right back in where we were, which is Meg comes in and drops a burnt up melted card on the tape on the desk. Even I'll read my own words here. Powell says, "Take your key card, Derek, and obscenity off." Derek says, "What card? All I see is a useless piece of scorched plastic on the table." Powell says, "Strange. Me too. Is that what you see too, Meg?" Meg says, "Yep." Pal continues, "So tell me, Meg, sweetie, why did you bring me a useless piece of plastic instead of my key card?" Meg explains, "Oh, that is your key card. Or it used to be, before I put it inside a microwave oven." I will also stop there to say, she said microwave oven, which just felt weird. Who says that?
Yeah. I mean, it's not wrong, but it is.
It's not wrong, but it also
anyone would call it a microwave oven.
It feels unnecessary. It kind of feels like bringing up that caffeine is as a stimulant.
Yeah.
No, this is actually worse. This is more egregious. Some people might not know that first one. Everyone knows. Whatever. Moving on. Pal says, "And why would you do that, I wonder, huh? You are exactly like every other assistant, Meg. You're a vapid, bottom-feeding, parasitic poophead. You're a pair of boobs with zero talent. So tell me, Meg, you incompetent word I don't have a funny way to replace, what could possibly possess you to destroy my keycard?" It's the C word, everyone.
Yeah. Cookies.
Yeah. Sorry. No, you're thinking of that. That is also a C word, but it's the Australian C word.
Oh, yeah. Can't say that.
Vegemite, but with a C.
Vegemite.
Vegemite. And there it is. There's the funny way to replace that word going forward. Vegemite. I don't think that one's gonna stick.
What?
So tell me, Meg, you and I already said that. What could possibly possess you to destroy my keycard? I don't know if I said that. I'll say it again. Meg answers, because everyone upstairs knew you would betray them. So they offered me a promotion in exchange for destroying the card. So I guess I no longer work for you, you obscenity-ing bad woman. Meg grabs the scissors before Pal can and continues, in fact, I don't have to listen to your hideous, shrill voice ever again. And stabs her to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Melanie thinks that's hilarious.
She does. She laughs a lot.
Yeah. We cut to Towers viewing another video from Derek. Derek says, hey, just wanted to say, no more lies, no more power games. He turns to the camera to show Pal's corpse with her head, like, sitting on the treadmill, like, getting continually run over, basically. I don't know how to explain. Not run over, but you know. I don't know how you explain that. It's kind of a thing that doesn't normally happen, so there's no exact word for describing that. Reverse run over? Run under? He continues. No more bull poop. And no more siren song. Melanie holds up Powell's tongue in the shot. Derek continues. By the way, Meg, she's a little crazy. She's perfect here. Then, yeah, that's it for that scene. I lost my place and thought there was more, but there wasn't. So we're move on to the next scene.
Yeah.
Next scene! We have a slight awkward energy here because it's just, it's the second day. We don't normally do that, guys.
No, we don't. Usually.
But hey, now I'm wearing my cool Jason shirt video, people. You see it. Well, maybe. You don't really see my shirt that much. You see, like, just the top. And it's a black shirt instead of a gray shirt. Crazy.
Oh.
No. We cut to Derek sitting in a room feeling defeated, holding a piece of his broken mug, when Melanie rejoins him whistling, wearing Powell's running shoes. Derek says, I loved this mug. I got it on the first day I started here. My sister gave it to me. Obscenity, this place. Do you still have that foreclosure paperwork on you? Melanie grabs it and gives it to Derek, asking why. Derek says, let me take a little look at it. You're in luck. This mortgage is part of a bad batch. Original paperwork was filed so many times that it'd be tough to find. Could even be lost. Melanie says, so if I asked the bank for the original paperwork, Derek says, you'd put them in a tough spot. Or a signature from upstairs could void it completely. Hey, I'm sorry for not helping you earlier. I should have, but I didn't. Melanie responds, it's okay. Just don't do it again, I guess. Derek's phone vibrates, and it's a video of Towers pewing.
Yep.
He's peeing on Ewan Niles' corpse. Derek starts to cry. Melanie tries to console him. Derek says he has kids. I'm so sorry. This obscenitying virus just takes everything up to 11. Melanie replies, I've noticed. And they play and then they play harmonica. Woo.
Yeah.
But it's that, classic, everyone in this scene is a star harmonica playing, so they're very clothed, like you do.
Yep. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. In that heat of the moment where you take off the woman's top, but not her bra, because she's too big of a star. Which, fair. I'm not knocking her for not showing. Whatever. Live your life. I don't care. But it doesn't really make sense. But, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Also, while they're playing harmonica, it's intercut with shots of the zombie-like chaos happening on the ground floor. That's that scene. Post-harmonica, Ants Marching by Dave Matthews Band starts to play. See, guys? It's a callback. It's early.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Dave Matthews.
Actually, fun fact is, not really, I don't know if it's a fun fact. Especially because I'm going to, really try to condense it. Apparently, that was put in there as just kind of like not a joke, but just like as a temp track by with the person who was figuring out what goes there. Editor, I think, would probably be who it was. And Joe Lynch was very much like, we're not going to be able to get this. But then he fell in love with it because he thought it worked perfectly in the scene. So he had to, like, try his hardest to get a hold of Dave Matthews Band. And typically, they were asking for, like, $500,000 to $1 million per track.
Jeez.
Yeah. So he was hopeful to get a hold of them, but not expecting to, even if he got a hold of them, not expecting to actually be able to make it happen, because I think the producer said they eventually were like, you have $100,000 to make this happen if you want it that bad. And so eventually, after a lot of work, because he did, I think we mentioned earlier, he did music videos. I think maybe we didn't. Maybe that was the conversation I had with someone else. I honestly don't remember. But Joe Lynch did music videos, so he had connections. That's why he was able to get the Faith No More song earlier for completely free, that one. And then this one, he was able to eventually get himself... He was about to go to the one concert Dave Matthews Band was going to do in the States that year, but their agent was just like, Dave Matthews said fine, or I guess the band. I don't know if there's... I assume there is a Dave Matthews. I don't listen to Dave Matthews Band. What? I do like Ants Marching. I have heard that song and do enjoy that song. But the point is, Dave Matthews Band eventually actually gave him the song for like $15,000, which is insane. And yeah, so cool moment.
Yeah.
After this, they realize that they're running out of time, so they and that the elevator is no longer active, I think, so they have to need a key card to go through the stairs, I think is the implication. Maybe? I don't know. Because the elevators aren't going to be able to be working again, but they still need a key card, so I assume... But then they go up an elevator. So I actually don't know what the whole bit about the elevators meant, now that I think about it. I don't
understand what's happening at all.
Not really, honestly, now that I think about it. But the solution to their MacGuffin now is they have to go down to the IT department to talk to Ray.
Yeah.
Ray, the IT guy, is played by... Well, we just mentioned him. It's the movie's director, Joe Lynch. Yeah, so he's in this scene because he wanted to be. Because he really wanted to work with him. It was the last scene they shot. And the cast, they didn't know it was going to be him until they showed up that day. Apparently he had a beard at the time, throughout the rest of the filming, and shaved it all down to the mustache, and they walked in and were like, oh, whoa, it's you. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. When they enter his office, he's destroying a keyboard and tells them he's busy. Derek says they need his help and shows Ray the video of Lester on fire. Ray says, holy poop, how did that happen? Excuse me. Melanie says, well, we asked for his help, and then he said he was busy. Ray then changes his attitude and welcomes them to the IT department.
Yeah.
It's a fun little scene. He helps them by... I guess first he turns off Irene Smith's internet, basically, which gets her to call him, which gets him to be able to give her a patch that's not a patch. It's actually a Trojan virus that gives him complete access to her computer. And then they tell him to delete everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. There's some dialogue in there that I can't repeat that's mildly amusing, but we'll move on. But then Smythe calls Ray back to figure out what happened to her computer. But Derek answers and tells her she has to meet up and trade her keycard for access to the backup of her hard drive. That's that whole scene. It goes on for a little longer, and it's a decently funny scene, but there's only so much you can talk about it. Right. We cut up to Smythe telling Towers, and Towers is not okay with her plan to meet up with Derek for the trade. But Smythe has a gun hidden in the meeting room, and Snyder close by as backup.
Yeah.
Smythe joins Derek and Melanie in the conference room, but when she goes to grab the gun, it's gone.
Ah!
What? No, how? Well, Derek has it and says, a little pro tip. Employees' IQ at this firm are inversely proportionate to their salaries, so it's probably not a good idea to try and outsmart someone with a smaller paycheck. He then points the gun at her and adds, keycard? She slides the keycard across the table. Smythe says, now give me my hard drive. I've done my bit. Melanie says, not yet. Gotta sign this first, giving her the foreclosure paperwork. Smythe says, "Oh, I could sign this, sure. Then claim temporary insanity and have it dismissed. Sorry, sweetie, but you can always take it to the man upstairs with that card you've got in your hand. That card you've got, if you like." She did stutter over her line, but for some reason they kept that in the final take. Really weird choice by the movie. What? Oh, you think I messed up? No, it was the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Melanie then takes a hammer to the backup drive, destroying it. Which I will also point out that I don't think that would actually have got rid of the backup, because this was obviously taken from the server and they didn't bring the server up. They brought like a portable drive with her files on it, which means there probably is still a backup file on the server. But, you know, in this moment, no one's thinking quite clearly. Melanie says, give us a minute, and Derek says, yeah, totally, and gets up to leave. Once, right out the door, he's attacked by Snyder. They brawl into the daycare. Smythe throws ash from her cigarette in Melanie's eyes to get the advantage in their fight. Snyder doesn't shoot Derek, saying, "Bullets are for cowards." For cowards. It's for cowards.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's people who cow. Cowers. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, if we were actually a professional podcast, I would just retake that line and cut that.
Well, we're not.
But we're not, so I'll just read the line again so you know what he said. Bullets are for cowards. He then puts on his brass knuckles, and then we cut back to the girls, where Melanie gains the advantage and comes at Smythe with a mallet when Smythe says, no. Oh, sorry, no. She just says it twice. She just says, no, wait. That card doesn't work. It needs an access code. Back to the daycare, and Snyder is kicking Derek's butt. Derek stabs Snyder in the chest with a small screwdriver, but Snyder doesn't seem very fazed at all.
Yeah.
And takes Derek to the ground, I believe. Yes. And goes pepper spray him. But Derek closes his eyes and opens his mouth, collecting the pepper spray, and then spits it back in Snyder's eyes before stabbing him in the back of the head with the screwdriver, killing him. He then, in this really cool, one-take shot, he, runs from there to the water bubbler. I'm going to call it water bubbler, because as we established in the previous episode, water cooler doesn't do a good enough job explaining the difference between this and...
Right.
So, shout out to my northeastern fans, New England people. It's a water bubbler. But yeah, he then washes his mouth out with water. Which wouldn't have actually been that effective, really, because the way water interacts with capsaicin is it actually wouldn't have helped that much. He really needed milk, but I guess there was no milk bubbler.
No, probably not, because that would be insane.
I really want to see a milk bubbler. Chris, if we ever make a movie and there's an office setting, can we have a milk bubbler just in the background of the shot that we don't explain?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't matter. It's never you. It's just in the background of a shot. And here's the thing: it doesn't have to be an actual. We don't have to waste that 5 gallons of milk. We just poke a hole in the top of the water bubbler and just add white food. Is there white food dye?
I don't think that there is.
We might have to put milk in it.
That'll be oat milk, so I can drink it afterwards.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, stay tuned to the Horror Bois official Horror Bois movie, where we do that, and also in the last scene, not simulated at all, we stab Chris in the back of the neck to see if he smells toast. No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. See, I just had to bring that up here, so this feels like the same podcast. I have to bring up some of the running jokes from the last half. So yeah, he washes his mouth out and goes back to the conference room with the girls. Derek says, "I'm done obscenitying around. Give us the code right now." Smythe says, "I'll give you the code, but here's the new deal, boy. You give me her. She destroyed my work. That's years of my life. You want your revenge? Well, give me mine." Melanie says, "I just want my home back, you butthole." Which, you know what? Fair.
fair.
honestly.
Yeah.
She is kind of like the closest to innocent in this movie. Still not innocent, because,
No, she does
is
murder
murdering people. But actually, legally, she is innocent. Because it's actually the virus killing the people.
Yeah.
Thanks, Derek. I mean, actually, thanks, Derek. Because without that, this movie wouldn't have happened. And this is a good movie, so.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun movie.
Smythe says, the quarantine is ending soon. Your time is running out. I guess I'll mention here, because I didn't mention it at all at any point. At this point, a little timer pops up. This is 25 minutes. It happened every other time, like, the time was brought up. I just didn't mention it. But it's there. This movie thinks it's 24, I guess. But it's only 8 hours, so it's 8.
Yeah.
Derek yells, give me the access code. I already said that. No, he didn't. No, I didn't. Smythe says, I'll give you a pro tip. You want to swim to the top? Drop the dead weight. Melanie raises the mallet. Derek says, she'll do it, and starts to count down from 5. He counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, but then Smythe says 1. So he knocks out Melanie and says, deal.
Yeah.
We see Derek tying Melanie to a chair as she yells, obscenity to you, Derek, you piece of poop suit. You're just like all of them. You belong here. Derek then kisses Melanie before heading to the elevator with Smythe after grabbing the foreclosure paperwork. She puts the code in for him, and he smiles and drops screws on the floor. We get a flashback shot to show him passing a screw to Melanie in the kiss so she knows what he did. Smythe turns around as Melanie hits her with something, killing her off screen. In the elevator, Derek has previous dialogue from Towers go through his head as he punches himself repeatedly in the nose.
Yeah.
You know.
He's really bugging guys.
Yeah, he's having fun.
Yeah.
Comes out of the elevator looking like Andrew WK. It's not in my notes, but it's true. Like all the blood, like I feel like Andrew. I feel like that's a thing. I feel like I'm not crazy.
No, okay.
We'll cut in a picture of Andrew WK. Oh wait, what's that? Oh, we don't have an editor, so that will not happen.
Ooh, whoops. Uh-oh.
Google Andrew WK blood, and it should come up, guys. I lost my place. Punch stuff in the nose. When he enters the penthouse, Towers and the 9, well, now 8, are clapping for him and popping bottles of champagne. Towers slides over a contract that would make him a partner. 2 attractive female assistants run down all the perks, including playing harmonica with them. I think the assistants are played by Giovanna Prosenik and Nina Senekar. They never have names in this, and those just have names, but one of the pictures looks kind of like them, and the other one doesn't have a picture, but they're right next to each other. So I think that those are the assistants.
Oh, okay.
If not, it's someone else in the movie, and good for them for being in this movie.
Yeah.
Even though this job is everything he's ever wanted, Derek says no. One of the assistants breaks the champagne glass and goes to stab Derek, I presume, but ends up stabbing the other assistant in the neck. Derek knocks out the assistant who stabbed the other one. Derek arms himself with his wrench, and Towers arms himself with a golf club, and takes cocaine from his podcast. He has a cocaine podcast from his cocaine pocket, and snorts it like spinach to Popeye.
Yeah.
Towers says, "Mine's bigger. Mine's always bigger." I don't know what he's talking about there. I guess he's just talking about his weapon in this scene is what he obviously means.
His golf club.
Oh, yeah, because golf clubs are always bigger than
the
wrenches. That's true. That's a fact. Good for him.
Yeah.
And then he says, I have a really big penis. Wait. No, he doesn't. Sorry.
No. No, that's not the movie.
Oh. Did I watch the wrong Mayhem again?
Maybe.
And they get in a fight with their weapons. Derek gets the advantage and punches Towers to the ground. Towers gets up and throws pocket coke in Derek's eyes to get the advantage, and he says, "That's your problem, Derek. No vision." Which is just a really good line.
Very funny dad pun.
Yeah, but it's like a perfect timing too. Like I respect that. I respect that line. He starts swinging his club at the blinded Derek. He gets on him and is choking him, but Derek is able to push him off. Towers' golf club gets bent, and while he's trying to get a new one, Derek arms himself with the broken mug as brass knuckles and jumps across the table and punches Towers to the ground. Derek stays in control and takes Towers over to the edge of the railing, and after a vote from the 8, he punches him over the 9th story balcony. I'll also mention here, just because it wasn't initially in my notes, but it was something, because I rewatched this movie with my dad since we did the first half of this. And there is like, Towers is talking about how he's too much of a, we'll say chicken, to kill him, which I think is just the most out-of-pocket crazy thing to say to a man you know has already killed multiple people.
Yeah, it is kind of insane.
People who he didn't hate to the level he hates you right now. Like, he didn't like him, but let's be real. Like, let's go with, like, an example for, I mean, technically he didn't kill him, but he was willing to. What's his name?
Lester?
Yeah, Lester. Lester had never done anything to him specifically before today, but he was completely on board with killing him today. But this guy who's treating him like crap and trying to kill him, he's not going to kill him? Really? Really, Towers? I don't know. It just feels like a really weird thing for him to have said.
Yeah. Not exactly the smartest choice of words.
Yeah. We then end this movie a lot like how it started, with some narration from Derek, where we find out that the incident helped lead to a fast-tracked vaccine, and he took the job as CEO offered to him by the 8, just long enough to avoid Melanie's foreclosure. We cut to an art class Derek and Melanie are taking together. The last shot is Towers hitting the ground as Derek gives one last pro tip about, like, don't take life, like, live your life, basically. Live your life, don't let work control you, kind of thing. I didn't write it down, but that's the general idea of what the quote was. Yeah, that's the movie. We did it. 2-part podcast. First time ever. Hopefully last time ever. Hopefully.
We'll see.
Yeah, final thoughts. I mean, that's my boy's choice. Obviously, I liked it. That's not true, actually, I guess, to be fair. Technically, my first ever boy's choice was also a movie I'd never seen. But I did like that one, too. I ended up but the point is, I liked this movie. That's why it's on the list. So, yeah, I like this movie. I'll explain a little bit why I like it. I think it's really fun. It's really well written. I think the comedy lands for me a lot. I really like the subversive take on zombies. Because, some people could argue, I would think they would be wrong, but could argue this isn't a horror movie. But I look at this as a different take on a zombie movie, and therefore it is. As well as just the graphic violence is something you don't really get in any other genre. So I still 100% consider this a horror movie. But, I really like the different take. Because it's a zombie movie, but not. And I like that. It's clever. That's it, I guess. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I like the movie. Okay. Duh. Chris, tell them how much you like the movie.
I also really like this movie. I had forgotten until I rewatched it, and I was like, oh man, what an enjoyable movie that was. Yeah, Melanie and Derek together are just really fun characters, and also portrayed by, Stephen Yeun and
Samara Weaving.
Yep, Samara Weaving. Her name always escapes me. Who are also both really good actor and actresses, respectfully. The
gender inclusive word is just actor. You could have said actors.
Okay. I don't know. I wanted to, cover myself 100%.
No, it's really weird, actually, that we have two words, because actress is a weird, only female gendered word for a word that can work for both. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool misogyny thing that we have stuck in society.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, wait.
So by both actors.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Both very talented.
Don't worry, I'll tell the editor to cut that. Dang it, we still don't have an editor.
Yeah, no, that will be it. And yeah, the writing in the movie is also very fun, and a lot of the jokes do land, and the action in this movie is just crazy over the top, and very entertaining to watch. Very, very nice. Chef's kiss, masterpiece. Well, it's not a masterpiece movie, but it is for what it is. It kind of is.
I'll call it a masterpiece. I had put
In its
this on,
own respect.
this makes my top 20 horror movies. I'd have to redo the list since I made it initially, but I'm still pretty sure this would make it. I really like this movie. But yeah, but you know, right now we are in Bois Choice 2, Freddy's Revenge, which means next week. Yeah, we already established that at the beginning of the episode, Chris. Don't give it their weird looks.
Yeah. Still not a fan of it.
Oh, well, sorry. It's what it's called, because that's what I decided. And I produce the podcast, and I'm the one who does the intro, so I get to say it before you say no, you don't like it.
No!
So, next week, we're continuing Bois Choice 2, Freddy's Revenge, with Chris picking the movie. So, Chris, what are you picking?
This coming week, we're going to be watching a little movie called Creep.
Oh, okay. I knew that already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay tuned to find out what that is. I think...
It's got 3 people in the cast, and it is only an hour and 17 minutes. So me, the note taker, loves that.
Yeah. A little independent movie that is very apropos for the title.
Okay. Well, you know, let's not spoil it. But yeah, we'll be watching that next week, and then there will be a 3rd week of Bois Choice with Isaiah the week after that. Ooh, that's crazy. And then there won't be a 4th week of Bois Choice. Like I said, there might be, but there won't be. So we're probably gonna cover Scream 6 that week. Oh, filling in that slot with a pretty recent movie. Crazy.
Yeah.
And because I said it there, I guess that's the official announcement. That's what we're doing after Bois Choice.
It's Scream 6.
Yeah, it's
and
Scream
then
6.
something.
Well, I know what it is, but we'll save that because we don't need to just dump them the whole calendar.
Here's our whole...
Alright, then we're gonna cover this, followed by this,
schedule.
followed by that.
Yeah.
That's a fact. My name is Austin. That's not the point yet in the podcast. Sorry. My name is Austin, though. That is just a fact. And that is also a fact. If you like this podcast for some reason, 5-star review on any podcast app. We did just get a new subscriber on YouTube today, so that's crazy. Hey, do you like this podcast and want to see our beautiful, I guess, faces? You can head over to youtube.com/@horrorbois where you can subscribe and see our faces for the video podcast that releases every week for the same time. And then if you want to support us directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/horrorbois where you can get this podcast early most of the time. Not this episode. It's a good thing there's no subscribers because this episode did not come out early because of technical issues. But yeah, normally you get it early, and you also potentially could get other cool stuff. Potentially, if you subscribe to those tiers.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. You should do that.
It is.
I guess.
So support us
don't.
financially, please.
I mean, that'd be cool. It'd be cool if, like,
We need money.
yeah. I've been Austin. Joined by Chris. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.